Hey peeps, welcome back. We're talking the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 5, Episode 9. Hey, before we get into the video, please do me the honors of subscribing to my channel, hitting the notification bell so you can always be notified when I post new content, hitting the thumbs up because that does wonders for my channel, and share. Thanks. All right, you guys, so my voice is getting a little bit better. I'm still a little under the weather, but I think in another couple of days, I will be back to myself. But before we get into this show, you guys, has anyone seen the previews for the rest of this season? If you haven't, go to my community tab and check it out. Lord, it is going to go down. I don't know what's going on with Salt Lake City, but I can tell you they are all clocked in and they are ready to go. Another thing I thought, this particular episode had zero Heather. I enjoyed that. I really did. We didn't have to be bothered with Heather at all. To me, that was a good time. Before we get into the show, I wanted to say congratulations to Candace and Chris. Candace and Chris welcomed their baby boy. His name is Jet Maxwell Lee. I'm telling you, Jet is a name that I picked out. If I had another son, I would name him Jet. I absolutely love that name. So their little boy's name is Jet Maxwell Lee, and he's just gorgeous. We couldn't really see his face or anything, which I don't blame them at all, but what an adorable baby. So we move over to Shannon Storms Bedore. According to Radar Online, Shannon and John is still going back and forth about this money. They are still going back and forth about this $75,000 that John is saying is a loan. Shannon has thrown down the gauntlet and they have decided, according to Radar Online, that they are going to go ahead and set this up for a trial by jury. Now, I don't know what the hell is going to happen, but I would love to be on that jury. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, John is saying that $40,000 of the $75,000 was for Shannon's facelift. I said, wow, who the hell knew a facelift cost $40,000? That's a lot of money. I would think that you would be lifting my entire body. Lift, tucking, lipoing, flattening out my entire body, from head to toe, including my ankles, for $40,000, not just my face. Anyway, he says the other $35,000 was just a little loan. I'm sick of Johnny Jansen. Anyway, I still have to watch part 2 to the daggone reunion. This cold has really been jacking me around. I am serious. I'm sick of it. Anyway, also, did anybody hear that the reason that Teddy and her husband are getting a divorce is because Teddy was having an affair, months-long affair with her horse trainer, Simon? That's what the Daily Mail said. I don't know these people for sure, so, it's not none of my business. But anyway, I think it's weird that the 3 ladies who were besties, Teddy, Dorit, and Kyle, they all seem to be going through a divorce at the same time. Isn't that odd? Or is it just me? You know what? Maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist. I don't know. Maybe they all decided that they needed to get a little strange at the same time. I don't know. Anyway, they are also saying that her husband, Edwin, had, cheated on her too at some point. I don't know. I don't really keep a close eye on Teddy Mellencamp because I didn't like Teddy. I still don't. Anyway, let's just go on and move on to the show. So this episode picks up right where we left off. Lisa, of course, she's the victim. She's crying. Oh my God, this is so uncomfortable. This is so uncomfortable for me. Girl, listen. You are the one who decided to come in on your white horse, riding so hard, caping for Heather on Bronwyn's anniversary trip. Now here she has flown you in on a private jet, rented a beautiful estate for $20,000 a night, planned for activities and food. She's entertaining you and you want to ride for Heather. And not once did you think about how Bronwyn would feel. Not once did you sit there calmly with your lips shut and listen to her side of the situation. All you care about is what the hell Heather Gay has to say, or her emotions, her feelings. So shut up. Nobody gives a damn that you are uncomfortable right now. You weren't uncomfortable enough to pack your shit and go home. You and your husband wanted to have y'all's asses there enjoying the lap of luxury. You could have packed up and took your ass home. And I didn't appreciate how she was trying to blame Whitney for all this. All of this is Whitney's problem. Really? Not once have you ever taken responsibility or accountability for your part of arguments. You are the common denominator. Every last woman on this show, every last one, including all the friends of ladies who are no longer on the show, she has had an argument with, a fight with, a breakup with. You're the only woman on the show, I think, who has fought with every single woman on the show, possibly twice. You are the problem, Lisa Barlow. It's you. I'm just saying, I'm sick of this woman. Anyway, her and John have a conversation. John tells her, maybe you should just have a conversation with Bronwyn, just you and Bronwyn alone, away from everybody else. And she says, yes, I plan on doing that. Then she goes right to the damn lunch table and starts the bullshit there. I said, well, what? Everybody's there. The entire group is at the table. This is not a private one-on-one.
She is a liar.
Don't call my wife a liar.
She's a liar,
She's not
Justin. She's a liar.
Oh, charge out your husband. I think your husband's capable of taking care of himself. And as a matter of fact, my husband would never talk to a woman the way your husband talked to me.
I felt very, very, like, uneasy.
Oh, yes, I'm sure you felt so uneasy. Like I felt when your husband's like, to me. That's my husband.
No.
I did not say that. I did not say that to you. What did I say to you, Lisa?
Okay.
Well, first of all, let me just say, Justin did not talk bad to Lisa. Justin did say my wife's not a fucking liar, but he only had one fuck. There wasn't a whole bunch of F. He didn't do that. He only said the F word to her one time. And she's going around acting as if he was following her around the party in hysterics. Girl, shut up.
Just ask the question with a question mark at the end. Did she do it?
Did you do it?
No.
There, done.
Done.
Who knew? All we needed was John Barlow to tell us that's the end, and it would tie this all up with a pretty little bow.
Whitney, did you lie about anything about Lisa?
Never.
Done.
Never lied
Okay.
about you. I may have said mean things that I felt at the time, but I've never lied about you.
Lisa has never lied about you. Lisa has never lied about anybody at this table.
Well,
Didn't she tell somebody that you're a bitch, though?
Yeah, she told me I was.
It's borderline abusive. And I've been privy to conversations between the two of you and really taken back by some of the abuse that my wife has taken on the other end of that phone call.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm not abusive to her.
You know, I'm on the other end of that thinking to myself, like, why the do you let anybody treat you like that?
I have a different way of speaking, and if you guys clearly don't understand me, if I have hurt you, I am sorry.
And John, really? You can't sit there and tell everybody that Lisa has never lied on any of these women. You need to pipe down, sit back and relax. That woman lies all the time. You don't have to jump in the conversation and try to stick up for this woman when other people are trying to express how they feel about her bad behavior. I think that part of Lisa's issues are the fact that John stands behind her so strong. It's as if he is enabling her to continue to always act as if she is the victim. He puts her on some sort of pedestal that she's never doing anything wrong. She never says anything wrong. She's never at fault for anything. And that is not true. There has been a number of times that Lisa has done some out-of-pocket shit, and John is sitting right there. You don't think that your wife is totally innocent. You can't. You have to know that Lisa does wrong. And I do understand that a husband should ride for his wife. I really do. I also understand that he should stand by her and then, in private, speak to her about this sort of situation. But don't sit there at that table in front of all of these people and act as if your wife has done nothing wrong. She has. You should just sit back and allow these women to have this conversation. That's just my opinion. Now, Sean, jumping into the conversation, I didn't expect that either. It was at the top of the vacation when all the husbands were saying, we need to stay out of the women's business. But, here Sean comes jumping in, and I don't think that Sean's comment was wrong. I just don't know if he should have jumped into this. I think all the husbands should allow the ladies to work this out. But also at the same time, they're on this vacation with all the women. I don't know. I just feel that John should back down, get out of this. Justin should not be a part, and neither should Seth or Sean, unless the ladies approach them. Now, if the ladies approach them, they have every right to jump in. I agree with Sean 100%. I think that Lisa is abusive. I think that some of the things that she says to some of these girls is out of pocket, and I think that they allow her to treat them this way. People can only treat you the way you let them. And I appreciate that now some of the ladies are starting to stand up for themselves and speak out. I'm glad that her husband is there for her as well, but I really don't think that it was his place to jump in on that conversation right then. I appreciate what he said, though. Anyway, thanks to Seth, they were able to break up the arguing and have a little laughter and then go out and play some good volleyball before Todd, which to me, he's like Grumpy Smurf, before Grumpy Smurf stormed off. Anyway, we move over to Mary, and Mary is spending some time at home. She wants to spend a little time with Robert Jr. She goes into his room. He's laid up in the bed with his wife, and they're sitting there eating donuts or something and vaping, whatever. He had his little vape thing with them. And Mary asked them, did she come in on an eating session? Clearly they're eating, Mary. She asked both of them what their plan was for the week, and neither one of them had any plans. I said, well, shit, they're not trying to find employment. That's for damn sure. And, Mary is very upset. She's very concerned about her son. She says that she doesn't know what's wrong with him. She doesn't know what's wrong with either of them. Speaking to them is like talking to two babies, and she blames herself for spoiling him. I don't want her to blame herself too much. When we only have one child, and I can speak for that, I only have the one son. When you only have one kid, sometimes you can have 5 kids, and you will spoil them. You don't do it because you want them to be rotten. You don't do it because you're trying to enable them. You just do it because you love them and you want them to be happy. I spoiled the hell out of my son. The thing is that this guy grew up to be a responsible adult. He also grew up to appreciate every single thing he's ever gotten. He's a very grateful, humble young man who, works his ass off in school. He goes to college. His grade point average has not gotten below a 3.6, and he works full time. My son, I'm tooting my son's horn. Hoot, hoot. My boy is awesome. Anyway, I think that Mary has a good son too. I think that something is going on with him emotionally, and I believe that Mary should get him into therapy. Having him and his wife sitting around the house all day, vaping and eating and smoking weed and whatever else that they do besides borrowing money from Mary is not a good look. Both of them need to be into some sort of therapy. And then they need to get into some college or job training program, working down at the Wendy's, serving Lisa Barlow, something. They've got to get the hell out that bedroom and out of that house. That is the first step, Mary. You need to be putting them in the car and driving them over to a wellness center so that they can start to get some therapy, even if Mary needs to join the therapy session with them. Because you cannot let him continue to go on like this. When you do this, this is when it becomes enabling. You're enabling him by allowing him and his wife to lay up in your house doing nothing all day. Then we see Bronwyn and her rich husband as he puts the necklace on. That necklace was 170 carats of diamonds. $4 million. I said, shit, Bronwyn is going to make sure that all these ladies know she's rich. Okay, she's rich. Anyway, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. The outside for dinner was set up amazing. They had a nice mariachi band. The place looked more like a beautiful hotel resort than an actual residence. The place was beautiful. Lisa comes out with John and she tells Bronwyn how much she loves the necklace. Bronwyn says that Lisa was really drawn to the necklace, but she wished she was drawn to an apology. I said, shit, you will never get a sincere apology out of Lisa Barlow. Never. Then we have Todd.
This guy's own a tequila company. That's cool. There's a lot of them. Yeah, mediocre tequila.
He's going to pay for that at the reunion. I'm just saying, I thought that was hilarious as hell. Not a mediocre tequila. Oh gosh, that was something else. That was something else. Angie K says that Todd is a really nice man and he has a friend who owns a top shelf tequila company. And that's why he said Vita was, mediocre. It doesn't matter if his friend owns a top shelf tequila company. Todd didn't have to say that. Todd is shady as hell. Anyway, I wasn't mad about it. I laughed and rewound. Seth comes down to dinner and Seth is wearing something basic and a baseball cap. I said, well, shit. I said, well, he's advertising for his kid. But it didn't fit in with the decor and everybody else's outfits. But, what the hell ever. See if I care. So Bronwyn goes on to have one of the most awkward, weird, not really emotional, not really lovey-dovey. This is our 10-year anniversary type toast or speeches for Todd. She later goes on to social media the night the episode aired to issue a little bit of an apology to Todd. I said, yeah, girl, this seemed like you wasn't in love with him at all. And that, you didn't really want to be bothered with Papa Smurf. Anyway, it's a very long apology. I'm going to sit this here, and if you want to pause to read it, you are more than welcome. But she pretty much seemed like she was trying to smooth things over with Todd. Anyway, Angie brings out the newlywed game and decides that she's going to be the host, and she only has enough markers and whiteboards for the people that she knew was coming. Todd's invited guests were not allowed to play. I said, well, that's a little rude, but it's understandable. I think I might have brought out printer paper and markers for the other couples so that they could participate as well. They probably would have said, we know she don't belong here, her low budget ass. She done went and grabbed the damn printer paper and markers. But I only think it was fair, I don't know. So they had the first question and everyone got theirs correct except for Meredith and Seth. And Bronwyn makes some kind of comment. She says, so only the Marks is on their way to divorce. I said, well, yeah, I hope that was a joke. That was kind of rude. I don't think I would have said that, but I think she might be right. They might be the next housewife couple to divorce. A lot of housewife couples just don't make it. Anyway, so then the next question, of course, was about what's your favorite sexual position or something like that. And it got to be a little too much for Todd, but they went ahead and participated anyway. Then the next question was, who does your wife like the least in the group? And of course, Angie and her husband said Meredith. However, Angie's husband, Sean, couldn't spell Meredith. So he wrote Mayor, M-A-R, instead of M-E-R. And Meredith wasn't here for that shit. Lisa, of course, she said she didn't, like Whitney. And Whitney and her husband put Meredith and Lisa. I said, well, damn. And of course, Bronwyn said Lisa, no surprise. I wasn't surprised by any of their answers. And I don't believe that Meredith showed what her answer was, but I'm pretty sure it would have been Whitney. Did anybody see Whitney's face when Justin apologized to Lisa? Whitney was mad as hell and shocked. I do not think that Justin owed Lisa an apology, not one bit. I said, why in hell would he apologize to her? After he apologizes to her, she gives him a little bit of an apology, but I don't buy it. I don't think she's sorry at all, and I don't think that she saw anything wrong with how she approached him, how she involved him in this, and then tried to act as if this man walked up on her and was disrespectful to her. That is just my opinion. Whitney says that she's done with this Alibaba situation, and I think she's an absolute liar. This Alibaba situation will be brought up 3 seasons from now. She will continue to lay on this bullshit. She truly can never let anything go. She can't let anything go. Lisa cannot let anything go. Then out of nowhere, Meredith wants to take the opportunity to bring up that Sean allegedly brought up Brooks.
Meredith, I didn't say anything about Brooks.
You did.
In the press.
You did?
What did he say, Meredith? Give the proof.
Sean Trulilo accuses Meredith Marks of using her son Brooks after gay rumors. Proof, biatch!
You just called me a biatch?
I did, because you just said, show me the proof.
You're taking it out of context. If you probably listened to the entire podcast, you'd probably understand where I was coming from. And you utilized the LGBTQ community to kind of leverage, you know, some sort of like middle ground in that. But I never said anything specifically about Brooks.
So you're saying that you never said any of this?
I've already told you twice. So for you to kind of, you know, victimize yourself once again and make it about you, I can't authentically give you an apology
because you're not
for
sorry.
anything. It's not about being sorry or not sorry. I can't remember leveraging or using Brooks as a pawn, as you would like to say. Let me tell you something. If I said anything demeaning towards Brooks, I'll certainly apologize. But I haven't done that. I have not done that. And I'll stand on that. And I'll double down on it.
Okay.
So first of all, really, Seth? Seth calling Whitney a biatch was way worse than Justin telling Lisa, my wife is not a fucking liar. I mean, seriously. And you know what else I don't understand? Why didn't Justin say anything? Why didn't Justin say, you know, Seth, unless you want to get fucked up, you better watch how you talk to my wife. He didn't move. He didn't flinch. He didn't say shit. I said, I know you not about to sit here quietly while this grown ass man calls your wife a biatch, thinking that because you said biatch, it's not the same. We know that means bitch. Absolutely not. I'm telling you what, my husband better say something or I will. And Whitney, she sat there too. She said, did you just call me? Absolutely not. Seth would have gotten the verbal ass whooping of his life at that damn table. Todd would have asked me to get the fuck out because I would have lit Seth's ass up. Even though I'm team Seth a little bit because Whitney, why were you involved? She was all in it. Where's the proof? Do you have proof? I mean, shit. They had a little more proof than you did about Lisa and her telling everybody about the Alibaba. You didn't have no business in this conversation, Whitney. I'm just saying, but, you know, Seth was wrong for that. He really was. I mean, seriously. And, you know, listen, I don't think that Sean said anything directly about Brooks. I really don't. And I do think that Meredith does use her son quite a bit for storyline. I don't think that Sean owed her an apology, not even a tiny bit. I thought that Justin should at least insist upon an apology to his wife. Lisa and John wanted an apology pretty much for Justin saying the F word. But damn it, that pissed me off. Listen, I will have to say that I really like Angie's husband. Sean stayed cool. He stayed calm. He kept it classy. But he pretty much, you know, dragged the shit out of Meredith's ass real quick. You know, he did it well. You know, congratulations, Sean. You read Meredith's ass with ease. And, you know, he is not here for it. It was not a yelling, screaming match. I was team Sean. I really was. He handled himself very well. He was patient while he explained himself. He never once directly said anything about Brooks. When they played the little podcast, Sean said she took the opportunity to leverage her son and things like that, knowing that this didn't land quite the way they wanted it. So he never said anything bad about Brooks. You guys get down in the comments. What do you think about the situation with Seth calling Whitney a biatch and Justin just sitting there like a bump on the log? What do you think about Sean defending himself with Meredith? And what do you think about Meredith continuing to bring this up? Then Angie tries to change the subject, and she brings up the subject of Gwen reconnecting with her parents. And that was just, it was a lot. After seeing the previews for the rest of the season, I don't know. Maybe Bronwyn wanted to come on the show so that she could broaden her horizon, maybe kick off a business, maybe start making her own independent money from her husband. Maybe secretly she wants the world to see who he really is. They don't have a prenuptial agreement, and, you know, they could capture some good footage of him being, you know, rude as hell. I don't know. That scene with Bronwyn and her husband reminded me of that scene on Beverly Hills when Erica and Tom were out to dinner with Lisa, and he was very dismissive of Erica and wanted her to shut up so he could finish having the conversation. It just, you know, it seemed bad. I mean, the way he sort of talks to her comes off as, you know, he's Papa Smurf and she's Smurfette. You know what I mean? That he talks to her like he's her daddy instead of her husband. I do understand that Todd is a no-nonsense kind of man. I also know that, you know, Todd loves his stepdaughter. He doesn't want to have this discussion. He doesn't want to talk about it. But there's a way to squash the conversation without, you know, embarrassing the hell out of your wife. I just thought that he was rude to her and disrespectful, and he didn't have to do that. I don't know, you guys. Tell me what you thought about that. To me, it seems like he was talking down to her like a child, and I just didn't love it. I would not want that in a partner. I think that he was right to not want to have that conversation, but he could have ended that conversation without being, you know, disrespectful to his wife. I didn't like that. Anyway, later in the episode, Seth, he leaves to go back to Columbus, and Angie said, "Woo, he seems like he is really ready to go. He's running out of here real fast." You know, everybody thinks that he's got a girlfriend back here in Ohio. And, you know, I don't know these people, but I think he does too. I think that Seth is doing something, and whatever he's doing, it does not involve Meredith at all. They just don't look good together. They don't look happy at all. I don't think they've ever looked honestly, sincerely happy the whole time they've been on here. So at the end of the trip, pretty much, Bronwyn and Lisa try to sit down and have a little bit of a conversation. Well, I can say this. Bronwyn is able to absolutely articulate her feelings and her arguments, get her points out there very clear. In my opinion, Lisa is not quick enough to pick up anything that Bronwyn is putting down ever. Bronwyn is not two-faced. And if Lisa can't see that, I don't know what her problem is. Bronwyn is always sticking up for Lisa and standing by Lisa, but Lisa has yet to stick up or stand by Bronwyn. Not once. I'm starting to think that Lisa and Heather are just mad at Bronwyn because she's rich. And I don't understand how, if Lisa is really truly Bronwyn's friend, why is it that she can listen to everything that Heather says, but she can't listen to Bronwyn at all? She can't just sit there quietly and allow Bronwyn to tell her perspective or her side of the situation. She listened very well to Heather's side. When Bronwyn told her, "Let me put the bar on the floor so you can't trip over it," I laughed so hard. I had never heard that before, and I'm going to remember that. I ain't going to remember shit. My memory sucks. I'm just saying. Anyway, My thing is, Lisa to me is a rude person who is disconnected from everyone. If it's not about Lisa, if it doesn't benefit Lisa, she doesn't give a shit about it. I'm not a fan of Lisa Barlow, especially not this season. At the end, when they go home, it turns out that they are not flying private. They are flying a small aircraft back, though. And she puts John and Lisa Barlow in coach. Lisa says, I don't carry coach. I don't fly coach. She's very obnoxious. She says that she refuses to fly for 45 minutes in coach. She hasn't flown coach since she was in college. And she is really very upset by this. She is very upset. Everyone else is saying how much they miss their kids. She's talking about how she misses Henry, but she's willing to take a later flight because she doesn't want to fly for 47 minutes in coach. That makes no sense. You spent this entire season talking about you don't want people to look down on you. You don't want people questioning your parenting, but you would rather miss out on spending more time with Henry because you don't want to fly 45 or 47 minutes in coach. Again, she is entitled and she has no awareness of what other people go through. She refuses to fly coach for 45 minutes. Oh, gosh. You guys, what did you think of this episode? Get down in the comments and let me know what you think. And until next time, bye.